Hello, my name is Elise. Welcome to my presentation on 21st century readiness in the classroom, 21st century skills for the 21st century learner. Okay, so the reading for this unit all suggested essentially the same thing, that we are currently missing the mark for 21st century readiness by continuing to focus on reading, math skills, things like testing and test scores, or even technical skills alone. We are aiming too low. So what are 21st century skills? Well, according to Battelle for Kids, 21st century skills fall under the 4 C's: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. Actually, I feel like these skills are kind of central focuses of most ELA curriculum. Each are targeted by the Common Core standards. The ELA Common Core standards do address and seek to ensure the development of these skills. And I think that my curriculum works to promote these skills in my students. My priority is in the classroom to develop students in their critical thinking skills by analyzing text for a slew of different things and through a slew of different lenses. And I do assign a lot of group work because I see the value in collaboration. And my students, they do grow in communication skills by doing all types of presentations and engaging in discussions and responding to prompts verbally and in writing. So I think that these are the skills that are the focus of the typical traditional ELA classroom. Where I think we are lacking in terms of 21st century readiness in ELA curriculum is in the skills that Steptoe and Wallace suggest in their Time magazine article, How to Bring Our Schools Out of the 20th Century. These are the skills that are mentioned in their article that are vital for success in the 21st century. So knowing more about the world. Students need to be guided to being good global citizens. So we need to instill within them like cultural awareness and sensitivity. Thinking outside of the box, and this goes beyond critical thinking. Students need to be problem solvers and innovators, and they need to develop skills in independent learning. Being smarter about new sources of information. In this digital and tech-heavy and tech-dependent world that we're living in, students need to be good digital citizens, and they need to develop digital literacy and apply the same critical thinking skills that we're trying to instill in them. They need to apply those skills to the digital information that they approach. And then lastly, students need to, in order to be successful in the 21st century, they need to be good people. They need to develop good people skills. This goes beyond working with others in collaboration. I think we need to instill in them an emotional intelligence in order to see their success in 21st century workplaces and 21st century in general. Okay, so of all the skills that we've discussed so far in this presentation, I think the 3 critical ones are critical thinking skills, communication skills, and problem solving and independent learning. I chose these because they're pretty broad and they cover a lot of really important skills that students need. Critical thinking, again, not just when it comes to approaching text, but also an ability to think critically about real-world events and digital information. Issues that they see around them. Communication skills, and this goes again beyond just being able to present in front of an audience. Students need to learn how to express themselves authentically, and they need to develop not just good speaking skills but good listening skills. And problem solving and independent learning. I think to be successful in the 21st century, we can't stop learning once we graduate. We need to be continuously adapting to new environments and new changes, and problem solving is a big part of that. Independent learning and continuous independent learning, developing skills to where we can teach ourselves new information, and also developing within students habits that would encourage them to want to continually learn and want to better themselves. Looking back, one of my favorite projects that I've done with students is a project around the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We were in collaboration with science, and the students were provided a lot of informative texts in order to kind of research a particular goal, and then they took the information from those texts in order to create in collaboration with a small group, in collaborative small groups, campaign films. So the students really enjoyed it. They were engaged. They learned a lot. However, I feel like there was definitely some room for developing more 21st century readiness within that project. So for example, I really feel that the students should have done their own online research. And this would have provided me an opportunity to not only give them some pointers on how to utilize search browsers, but also they would have been able to then apply their critical thinking skills to online material, which I think is important, and as we've discussed already, is definitely necessary for 21st century readiness. Another way I could have better prepared my students for the 21st century with this project is by allowing them some choice and autonomy in what it was that they were producing, as opposed to assigning everyone a campaign video. I really could have implemented more creativity and more opportunities for innovation and problem solving by encouraging them to come up with their own ideas for what it was that they were producing. So these are just a few ways that I feel like I could have better prepared my students with 21st century skills as opposed to what we ended up doing, and I'm going to consider that moving forward for my future projects.